Share it though.
Okay, go ahead. You don't wait for people to come on. They'll come on in the room. Let me go to
Come
my.
on in the room.
Yeah, they'll come on in the room.
Ooh. Which page you sharing it from? The Erica Hendricks?
Erica
Oh,
Hendricks, yes.
you already live. We 10 seconds in. Okay. Hold on.
Yeah.
Man, thank you again for even considering me.
10 seconds in. You good, man. I appreciate you. I told you I'm one of them ghost viewers.
Man, listen,
That's a new term. You can use that. You can take that.
We're gonna get you out of power.
I got you.
I need to tag a few people.
Yeah, let me share.
Man. Okay. How far are you from Charlotte?
About an hour, maybe 10, 15 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not that far. Let me It's storming here. I'm so glad I got on early because I think it's supposed to rain.
Man, storming.
Yeah, I mean like thunder, lightning storming.
What?
Hey, Yvette. Hey.
Hallelujah.
Right, guys. You know how we do. Share, like, and tag somebody in it. Come on in.
Come on in the room. Come on in the room.
Let's see. All right. So we got some viewers. Y'all come on in, greet us, let us know who you are.
Tell them to say hi to you.
Say hello. Come on in, guys. Come on in, ladies and gentlemen. Come on in. I'm not good at this part. This is Pastor Matthews is good at. I'm gonna take some pointers from him tonight. Come on in.
Come on in. Tell them
come on. Y'all come on in and join us. This is gonna be a good conversation tonight. I am excited about it. It's gonna be a great conversation. I just had a bad experience. I went to go to patronize a black business here to give me something to eat. And I was like, Lord, please don't let this food be nasty. And Lord, it was.
Was it nasty?
It was, Pastor. I'm like, why?
See.
I don't understand.
But you're in North Carolina, though. You can cook, can't you?
Man, I can't cook. They can cook, but I can't cook. I can buy whatever you want. If it's Ruth Chris, whatever you want, I can buy that. I can't cook. I can make tea.
Doc, you got to be able to cook. You have to be able to cook.
Man, I can't even bake cookies out of a roll. That's bad, ain't it?
And you're from North Carolina?
Yeah, I'm from North Carolina. I can't cook. My brothers, they can make cakes, pies. They can do everything. I'm the person that cleans the kitchen up after everybody done. So I'm the person that cleans up after everybody has eaten. That's my job.
Yes. So.
Hey, Pastor Moffitt.
Awful.
Y'all come on in. Hey, Amherst. Hey, Deborah. Hey, Frankie.
I got a few of my members logging on too.
Okay.
Y'all get in here. Get in here.
Yeah, come on, jump on in, guys. This is gonna be a great conversation. I am excited about it. Y'all come on and share and tag. Invite someone you know. Let them know tonight we're gonna be engaging in a very insightful topic. I believe it's gonna bless your life. I believe that God gave this topic to me. I began to pray and ask God to lead me to the right person to connect. And Pastor Matthews fell in my spirit. So I believe this is going to be an amazing conversation tonight. And we're just having a conversation. If you got questions or you have comments, put them on the screen. We're going to try to get some comments off the screen tonight. If while we're talking and something, you want to ask us something, feel free to jump in and have some dialogue, conversation with us on tonight, because we don't want this to be just a one man and one woman show. We want to hear back from some of you all, because I'm sure, like many of you all, you're probably wondering, what is covenant relationships? What is accountability?
And listen.
Yeah, that topic is packed. It's a powerful topic. You got covenant, relationships, and accountability. We got 3 words there that within themselves are powerful.
it's too much for an hour. So, that's gonna have to be. My mother is watching. She said my mom is.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Hey,
So,
mom.
but
Hey, mom.
but it is too much to navigate that particular topic in such a short period of time. But
We're gonna do our
that's
best.
a
Hey, Tracy.
we're gonna do our best. We're gonna
Yes.
and
Hey, Renee.
here's what I love. Here's what I love. I love your
Hey,
backdrop. I
Renee.
love books. I started this thing when Dr. Brian and I were traveling years ago, from 2007 on until this day. We started this thing where we read a book a week.
Gotcha.
And so reading is the total. It's my love language, man. It's what I do. And so seeing all of those literatures behind you,
This is just part of it. I got
I
books
love it.
I love books. I am a lover of books. My aunt was a professional storyteller, and she
Really?
traveled all over. My mom's older sister traveled all over and told stories, and so it was through her that I love books. She made books come to life, and so I
I
read
love it.
encyclopedias. I read it all. Growing up, I was one of those people that read
Wait a minute.
everything.
You read encyclopedias?
Yeah,
Is
I
that what you
did.
said?
Yeah, I read
Okay.
encyclopedias. Yeah.
Now before we get started, before you throw your first question at
Go
me,
ahead.
first of
Go
all,
ahead.
it's an honor to be here. But before you get
Thank you,
started,
sir.
do you think we need to tell people, especially those who are connected in our ministry,
Sure.
how long you've been ghost watching?
Yeah, I will. I'm gonna tell how old I am. Well, no, thank you, Pastor Matthew, that term that I said I'm a ghost viewer. So for those of you all,
Awful.
let me break that down to you.
That's
So in other
awful.
words, you go on somebody's page, you don't comment, you just watch.
That's awful.
And so we got a lot of ghost viewers out here. So I'm gonna let y'all out there in cyber world have that term. You can use it, you can have it, you can use it to the best. I know. So
That's
the
awful.
reason why I know I'm a ghost viewer, y'all, he always says when you come onto his page, let me know who you are, greet me, say hello. So that's why I know I'm a ghost viewer.
It's rude to come in somebody's house and not say hello.
I know.
That's disrespectful.
I know.
That
Please
is
pray for me, y'all. I'm gonna do better.
that is awful. You can't come in to somebody's house and not say hello. We gotta know you there.
I know, man.
Man,
I'm gonna do better. So when I do jump on, I'm gonna start saying hello.
just say hello. Just
I will.
hello.
I'm just gonna start saying
I
hello.
may bring you in on the conversation, or even if I'm preaching, I may bring you in on the sermon. Just say hello. You never know what can happen
I know.
in that moment.
I'm gonna do better. I promise. Girl Scout honor. I'm gonna do
All
better.
right. Okay. I'm gonna hold you to it.
I got you, man. I got you.
Thomas G, what's up, man? How'd your trip go to Philly, man? Y'all good?
Hey,
Bring me a cheesesteak back.
First lady, how are you? Hey, Tracy.
Yanir, what's up, Yanir? Listen, we're gonna dive. This is gonna be real transparent and authentic. So I'm grateful to be here. So I'm gonna start when the host tells me, ask me the first question.
All right, we're gonna get right into it. But before we get into it, Pastor Matthews, I want you to tell them a little bit about your book.
Oh man.
Tell them a little bit about your book. I mean, I ain't got mine yet, but y'all, just the title by itself. I said I got to get this. So tell me about your book.
The book was birthed from a conversation with my therapist. I am a pastor, preacher, teacher, and been actually preaching since I was 5 years old. And my mom is online, so she can attest to that. So preaching and so I really looked up to the office of the preacher. And the one thing that can be dangerous if you're not centered and grounded is when you look up to the office, but then get to know the person. Because if you are not centered in maturation, you will presume and assume that the person who holds the office is supposed to be the perfect person to preach about the perfect God. Ooh. And so as I was developing role models and developing mentors and developing people to look after, when I was going through some significant situations and really battling with vision, battling with relevance, because no, it doesn't matter how much confidence you exude, and it doesn't matter how good your gift is. At some point in time, if you're authentically anointed, you'll battle with moments of relevance. You'll battle with moments of significance. You'll battle with the call. You'll battle with every entity of it. And so when I was battling and I started going through therapy, and I said, well, I'm thinking about doing this, but so-and-so said this. And you know who I have some really, really amazing covenant brothers and friends who the world knows. And I don't have to name any names tonight, but the world, I mean, my best friends are who they are. So, you know, and I would be in therapy quoting my best friends and quoting my mentors and quoting everybody. And then my therapist says something to me. She says, I find that significant and I find that interesting. And I think it's great that you respect and admire those who are centered and circumnavigated around you. She says, but I got to ask you a question. You've told me in every session what everybody is saying to you. What are you saying to yourself?
Oh, wow.
And it really deals with the entity as becoming your most trusted voice. One of my favorite authors, he's a philosopher. His name is Osho. He says, trust does not begin when you have the capacity to trust someone else. Trust begins when you can trust what you say about yourself. And you can learn to trust your instincts and learn to trust what you see and learn to trust the capacity of your vision. And when it's too big for everybody else, it can never be too big for you. When it doesn't make sense to everybody else, it should never not make sense to you. And so I started this regimen of talking to myself and talking myself out of situations and out of bouts of depression with therapy, out of bouts of feeling insignificant, out of bouts of feeling non-redemptive, out of bouts of feeling as if, man, I have no place in this earth. And I really, so everything, Erica, I promise you, everything I said to myself, I put it in the book.
Oh, wow.
And so I had to, so even with the first instance, and not just you, nobody has received their copy yet because they're coming in next week.
Gotcha.
We're shipping them out next week. You all got in the pre-order, so everybody that pre-ordered, you're gonna get the signed copies. But even in the first chapter, we dealt with changing the narrative of rejection because we assume and presume that rejection is centered around us, and then we start taking on that particular weight, taking on that mantle, not necessarily knowing that if I change the narrative of rejection is really about the person's blindness and their inability to see the capacity of that which I have to offer.
That's good.
And so I take it and I say, well, it's not about me. It's literally about what they cannot see. And that's really a blessing because I don't want to be connected to nobody who can't see me.
Ooh, I
don't want to be connected to nobody
who
can't see me. You've got to be connected to people who can see you. You've got to be connected to people who can see you and that's the whole entity of the book. And so it's literally a 40-day travel journal that you read it every day for 40 days. And you know, and it's a whole lot of revelational stuff in there, but it really helps you change the narrative on what people have said to you and get you into the nuance of having conversations with yourself. Becoming I coined this thing, I'm a self-talker. And so the t-shirts and the hats are coming soon. I'm a self-talker. I'm a self-talker. I talk to myself. This is and so before I learn now in this instance to really listen to those who are around me, I've got to be confident in what's said within me. Because you trust them. Sometimes your trust in them will cause them to say things to make you turn away from what you know you're supposed to do.
Oh, wow. That's good. That's good.
Because your voice is so significant and I hold it with such reverence. I could be convinced one way before talking to somebody I hold in high reverence and high regard. And then I'll share with them and they'll tell me it's stupid. And then I'll go with what they say. I've got to be able to trust what I say to me and trust what he downloads into me. And then in confidence, if I share it with you and you don't agree with it, you don't believe in it, I've got to be so confident in what God showed me that I cannot be swayed any other way. Does that make sense? Y'all got what's up, y'all?
Listen, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
man, that was
Y'all got go AntonioMMatthews.com.
yes.
AntonioMMatthews.com. Go get it. Go get it. Go get it. It'll
I'm
bless your
telling
life.
you, you just so now you don't let us into our segue that's gonna lead us into starting
Yeah, because
something.
this yeah.
Because you said two important things that I think I want to start off on. You talked about trust.
Mm-hmm.
Trust is not given, trust is earned.
Mm-hmm.
And when we
Mm-hmm.
realize the importance of trust and how trust has shaped our lives, we realize that we can no longer piggyback off of someone else. We've got
Mm-hmm.
to trust the decisions. If God has called me to this, that He's
Yeah,
going to take me through the process. Which
absolutely.
leads me to year 18 of my ministry. I've been preaching now for 25 years. Year 18 was the year I wanted to walk away. And I don't
Mm,
care who you are, any preacher, at some point in your ministry, you're gonna feel like walking away. I'm just gonna
absolutely.
go ahead and tell you that. You're gonna feel like
Absolutely.
walking away, you're gonna feel like
Absolutely.
quitting, you're gonna feel like I think it's just part of the process. You're
Mm-hmm.
gonna feel like that. So year
Absolutely.
18, I came to a conclusion and nothing's changing. I had already got my mind. I'm gonna leave Greensboro. I'm just gonna go away and start a whole new life and just start over. And
Leave Greek.
God began to deal with me. God began to deal with me on some promises that I did not fulfill. He said, Eric,
Mm.
I told you from the beginning of ministry. Listen, he said, I
Ooh.
made you a promise. If you do, and if you do what I've asked you to do and preach what I've asked you, but he said you will never go lacking, and there will
Mm.
never be any areas in your life that I cannot trust you with. He said
Mm.
the reason you are feeling like you don't walk away because you reneged on your promise. Those were the exact words he said to me. He said you
Wow.
reneged. I can't play cards, so yeah, I was one of them slow ones. I can play Uno, but I couldn't play spades. So, but I know what reneging is. Okay, I know what that is. So when he said it to me, I was like, but God, I did. He said, no, Erica, I made you a promise, and you made a promise to me. He
Right.
said, you didn't hold your end of the bargain up. So when I began to
Wow.
evaluate me and begin to look at me, I was like, God, and the first thing God said to me, look who's around you.
Mm.
And I began to look at who was around me.
Mm.
And it brought me to what you said. I started speaking what other people else was saying. And God
Mm-hmm.
said, but that's not what I said for you to speak.
Mm.
I began to get comfortable
Right.
in my style of preaching, in my delivery because of everybody else. And so my
Ah.
best friend who said to me, she said, Erica, you didn't start out the way. What happened? And I said
Mm-hmm.
to her, I don't really know what happened. So I
Right.
had to go on a journey to find myself again through ministry. I had to find out who Erica was.
Right.
I had to
Major.
discover within me who I really was. So then I
Right.
had to trust myself.
Mm-hmm.
I can't expect for nobody to trust me if I don't trust myself.
You have to be able to.
Yes, you got to be able to trust yourself.
You have to. You have to. And so the significance of that is what and it leads us into the dynamics of this intentional conversation tonight of
Mm-hmm.
covenant, because anybody you are in covenant connection and relationship with will show you and help you and encourage you to really listen to the voice that's within,
Mm-hmm.
and listen to the voice that is really pushing you to become and find out who exactly you are. I remember a conversation in India. We were in Chennai, India,
Mm-hmm.
and Dr. Brown and I was sitting there having dinner, and we were just talking. This was in 2000, Erica,
Wow.
2007. We were in
Okay.
Chennai, India in 2007. And I was asking him, we was talking about all these nuances. And I said, well, man, I said, how do you feel about, all these imitators? I said, because people oftentimes say, because we're so close, when they hear me speak, they hear you. And he
Mm-hmm.
says, well, that's significant. He says, because the significance in your ministry is going to be in the ability for you to find your voice, find what
Yes.
works for you, whether
Yes.
it's controversial, whether it's this
Mm-hmm.
traditional, whether it's non-traditional, whether it's out the box, whatever it is, you've got to be able to find the comfort zone in who you are. And so
Yes.
now I'll go into places to preach, and I'm like, man, now, the gift of the Lord of preaching is upon us. We
Yes.
can move,
Yes.
we
Yes.
can do all that, we can
Yes.
sing.
Yes. Yes.
And then there are some places that you go, you like, man, I'm here, so I got to hoop, I got to do this. And then the Lord says, that's not even who I built you to do. If it happens, it happens.
Happens.
But
That's it.
you've got to go in confident in
Mm-hmm.
who you are, and watch this, confident in your content.
Mm.
Because when you're confident in your content, you don't need antics. He says, you study too hard, you read too much, you are too engrossed into hearing from me. He says, so when you are confident in the very element of what it is I shared with you and I download it to you, you don't have to impress nobody. I promise you it'll work. People replace content with antics. And that's why that sometimes, man, and that's why people come to the pulpit to show off their gifts.
Yeah.
And show off all of this other stuff. But man, show me, hear me. Show me how you connected to him during the week. And show me something and tell me something specifically God said. Tell me,
yeah.
what thus. And when you are in covenant relationships, man, you are in relationships, those relationships are supposed to be the dynamics and the crux of what covenant is built out of. Because we've gotten it misconstrued. Because and anytime I deal with a topic, I always get God's perspective, God's view on it, and then I bring it into humanistic relevance. And so understanding what covenant is to God, it is not a contract.
It's not.
It is not you do this, I do that. It is my covenant stands with you. If you read Paul's letter in Paul's epistle in Romans, he says, man, they did this, they did that, but God stuck by them because God kept his word. Covenant is about the connection and the promise of keeping the word. And so when you understand that, the reason why a lot of people don't have many covenant relationships, because they go into it with a contract mentality.
Exactly.
And they go into it with a mentality of what can I get? And they go into it with a selfish, intentional motive. And they come into it saying, all right, I'm coming in to serve, but my serving is connected to your ability to elevate me. You know, and if you don't elevate me, then my service will be dismissed. It says, so now I'm coming in with an ulterior motive, not in covenant connection, but at a contract responsibility.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It makes great sense. I think you was in me at work and Kervance and I's conversation today.
Oh wow, let's go.
We talked about content and context. We talked about the two in seminary school. I was taught content, but not context. So I was taught how to take content, and develop from and grow from moving content. It wasn't until I learned outside of seminary what context was and what context meant to me as it relates to not just to my preaching ministry, but to anything. Because anything that we do, a covenant is a commitment. It is something that is joined together. Like you said, it's not now the world system of covenant is contractual, but the commitment that we have with God and with covenant relationship is about a commitment to the promises and the words that God has spoken of your life. And I think a lot of people get discouraged when a word has prophetically been spoken of their life and it doesn't come to pass when they think it should. They automatically think that God has broke his promise. God's word is not going to come to pass. And what they have to realize that God will give you what you need when he feels that you are mature enough to handle the gift. He will. Anytime you get something prematurely, it can go one or two things. It's either going to stunt your growth or it will propel you to the next level. Now, the decision is up to you, which direction in which you want it to go to. So what I realize is that a promise is a promise.
Right. Absolutely.
But the thing you have to come to your mind is, God, at what point is the promise going to be fulfilled? And what part do I play in the promise being fulfilled? So we have a part to play in that.
Absolutely.
We have a part to play in it as it relates to a covenant relationship. You cannot want God just on Sunday and want him to you on Wednesday.
Absolutely.
And sometimes we want to be part-time lovers and not really take this thing wholeheartedly and say, God, I want you when I want you. It don't work like that for God. And that's the thing that God reminded me. He said, Erica, I made you a promise, but you broke the promise. And you know, he's a promise keeper. And I think if we begin to look at who God and look at the attributes of God, and
Mm-hmm.
what he means to us as a body of believers. He never breaks his promises. Everything that
Mm-hmm.
God's spoken on your life it's going to manifest if you are able and willing to walk it out.
Mm-hmm.
Begin to process begin to talk through the process. Now, I'm a
Absolutely.
person, I talk with my hands.
Right.
I tell people sometimes they can be distracting to people. But I learned when I took what was the class we took in college? Speech debate. Well, I can't remember speech. And I had put my
Oh,
hands
I
on the
don't,
podium.
I don't put that. You better lead them hands down.
Yeah. So I had to put my hand on the podium. I had to look at the professor when I gave her, and I told her, I said, this is the hardest thing I ever had to do. She said, why? I said, because I had to be still. And I said, I wasn't
Mm,
used to being still because I'm used to talking and
mm,
moving. I had to be still. And that was in my freshman year of college. And
mm,
it was in my junior year of college when God began to deal with me on my tagline is love is what love does.
mm-hmm.
Often that's my tagline. Wherever most people I end with that. That's my because love is an action word.
Right.
And it should be followed up with something. You don't just
Absolutely.
say you love me and you say it in words and there's no actions to it.
Absolutely.
So I think that what happens to many of us, we break covenant relationships because we're basing everything on love, but we're not looking at what is love defined for you. What does love look like for you in your content, in your relationship? Because
Mm-hmm.
love for me could look different. And
Absolutely.
if you base it on your family dynamics, based on where you were raised, what
Mm,
church you grew up in, love looks different.
it does.
So you have to understand that the way I approach a conversation may be different than the way you approach a conversation. I'm a processor. So I have to process what you're saying to me as you're speaking, because I want to make sure that when I respond to you, I'm
Mm-hmm.
fully understanding what you're saying to me. So I'm going to
Absolutely.
process. So I'm gonna be slow sometimes to respond. And I'm listening to you. So I have to make sure. So but a lot of people say, well, are you listening? I'm listening. I'm just processing,
You
in my
and,
head.
but see, that's the dynamics of your upbringing,
Yes,
especially in the Black church hermeneutic, because we think if you're not saying anything, you don't hear us.
exactly.
And it really attests to the fact that you have to be so confident in what you're delivering that and based upon that whole element of context, like you were saying, preachers not just need to understand the context of text and the
That's right.
context of what it is God is saying, they need to understand the context of where they are,
That's right. That's
because
right.
every sermon won't work in every context.
It will not.
And so a disconnected preacher will preach the
Mm,
same sermon in various churches, and we'll wonder, why didn't it work, or why didn't it go, or why didn't it
yes.
manifest the way it did? Because you was not in tuned enough to study and then
Yes.
study and hear God,
That's
because
right.
God's not going to miss the context. God
No,
knows where you're going.
that's
He
right.
knows what needs to be said in that
That's right.
moment.
That's
He
right.
knows what it is that he wants uttered. He knows who's going to be there.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Omniscient presence, his
Yes.
omniscient mind,
Yes.
his omnipresence, he's already there. So he already knows. And it takes the preacher to
Mm,
ask God and to study and to really intercede for not just the context of what I'm supposed to be saying, but the context of where it is I am.
mm.
And understanding, go back to what you said, connected. I'm still stuck, Erica, on that whole element of
Being
trust
still.
and covenant relationships, man,
Yes. Yes.
because it's so potent and powerful. And many people in today's dispensation that
Hmm.
missing the power of what covenant relationships are,
Yes.
because
Yes.
they are relationships, like you said. Love is an action word.
Mm,
Covenant relationships are relationships not based on anything individual, not based on what it is. I was doing some premarital conversations and I asked a couple, I said, what is why you love them, and what does love look like to you?
hmm.
And I said, why you want to marry him? And one time about a year ago, she was like, well, because he does this and because he does that, and because he's this and because he's that, and he does this and he does that. And then when she finished, and I just listened to her, and then I asked her the
Mm,
question, well, what if he stops?
mm,
If your love is based off something that can be stopped,
mm. That's
it's
good.
set up for a detrimental event.
That's good.
If me loving you is based upon what you do for me that can be ended, then I'm setting myself up for failure. I've got to be able to learn to love you, and I've got to be able to love you beyond conditions, beyond anything that is relevant to humanity as it relates to me doing something for you, me paying your bills. You love me because I pay your bills. You love me because I give you money. You love me because of this. And that covenant relationship is not built on anything that you can do for me. Because in reality, God is self-sufficient.
That's right.
He's solitary in nature. He doesn't need us for nothing.
That's right.
He created us because he wanted us. He doesn't need us.
He don't.
And here it is. We sometimes send God these superfluous praises because we assume that God is insecure, that God suffers with bouts of insecurity and depression.
Exactly.
And so when God gets insecure, we need to butter him up. Oh, God bless you. I love you. You this and you that. All with a hidden agenda, a hidden motive, so you can bless me again.
Yes.
Covenant relationships, that's not the entity of it. The entity of the covenant relationship, hear me, is not based on what the other individual can do for you or cannot do for you. It's based on, and when this hit me, because I asked the Lord, give me something, even this morning in prayer, that's so significant and that's really going to help some people out tonight. It's really based on who each individual in the covenant relationship is able to be because they're connected to you.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Who can I be? If we're in covenant relationships, you should be able to handle the being of me.
That's good.
You should be able to handle every entity of me as I grow and matriculate. Watch this. Because if I'm in covenant relationships, and he says something to me, he says, every covenant relationship is always based and birthed out of a prophetic entity. And I said, well, what do you mean by that? He says, because when you come in the covenant, you are not who you are going to be 10 years from now.
That's right.
He says, but you need covenant relationships so you can be who you're going to be 10 years from now. And so you've got to be connected to people.
That's right.
Who allows you to be wherever you are wherever you are when y'all come into covenant connection, and allow them to be connected and committed to seeing you become. Who can I become because I'm connected to you? And are you patient enough with me to walk me through my silliness, to walk me through my immaturity, to walk me through and walk with me, not judge me through it, but walk with me and let's grow together so that we can reach the prophetic utterance of our life. Because the prophecy has to come to pass. But it's not going to come to pass if you by yourself.
That's right.
You feel me?
I feel you. And the one thing you just said, I think, and everybody, y'all hear me on this. Everybody that is with you now may not be with you 5 years from now. So there's some people sometime in your life that you're flying with now that may not be on the plane when it lands. Absolutely. So you have to be comfortable in that. As with covenant comes change, and I think we have to learn how to change. The change takes place as maturity takes place, and then when you learn to trust, change comes. When you learn to speak what God has said, change comes. And we have to be comfortable with change when the covenant changes. So the covenant changes based on where you are. Because at every milestone of your age,
you just stepped on something.
Yeah. So every milestone. Go ahead.
No, because you just said something that the change, and a lot of people become impatient with change, or they cannot, they don't handle the change well because they don't believe you can.
That's right.
So now I'm in covenant with somebody, I think, who don't believe I can become what I'm supposed to be. Yeah. So now if I believe I'm in covenant with somebody and I believe in them and they don't believe in me, that's not covenant, that's company.
Exactly.
And eventually you get annoyed by company. Y'all, man,
That's
come
right.
on. Eventually you get annoyed by company.
That's good. Yeah.
Eventually you say, you know what, this ain't working. You just company, you just holding space until the right person comes or until the right covenant relationship comes. Because
So
if you can't see me, if you've got to be able, and here is why a lot of relationships, covenant relationships, and we're not talking about the surface stuff of dating. We're talking dating relationships. We're talking about authentic covenant relationships. It's not necessarily housed in dating. But here's the problem. If you connected with somebody who sees you, Erica, and somebody who sees you, I mean, a covenant partner will see you. They say, okay, I see Erica and I see her 5 years from now.
Yes.
I see here's where I made some mistakes. Even in my being committed to covenant to people, because I've learned, man, don't y'all miss this, y'all. I've learned to talk to people in their future. So I'm talking to the person I see, because if I keep talking to the person you are, then you might stay that way.
That's good. That's good.
So I'm so connected to your growth. I'm so connected to what I see for you. I start talking to you futuristically. But here is the problem. People who haven't seen themselves futuristically take futuristic talking as an offense.
Yes.
And so now I'm being mean because when you're being stupid, I'm talking to the future you.
Yes,
and I'm like, the future you don't do stupid stuff like this. And they don't understand. I'm talking to you from a perspective of what God has shown me. Hey, this is, man, if you walk in this particular line, and if I'm in covenant with you, I'm supposed to help you get there. I'm supposed to help you get there. I'm supposed to help you be. You're supposed to help me be. I'm supposed to help you get there. You're supposed to help me get there. So I'm not going to, I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to talk to the future you. I'm going to talk to the prosperous you. I'm going to talk to the evolved you. I'm going to talk, and while you're evolving, I'm going to speak to the person that God sees, because he said, Paul talks about the foreknowledge of God, how he created us, and God lives in the foreknowledge. So God looks at us from the completion of how he created us.
Yes.
And so he's looking at us saying, okay, that's why he can deal with our stupidity.
Yes,
because he already knows we're going to overcome our stupidity and get to there. So I'm looking like, okay, all right, I can deal with your stupidity as long as I get to let you know you're being stupid, because 5 years from now, I'm talking to that you. I'm talking to the millionaire you. I'm talking to the evolved you. I'm talking to the you that, and so a lot of times those relationships are mismanaged and people walk away from them because they think we're not talking to you, but we're actually talking to you. We're just talking to a you, obviously, you haven't seen.
That's exactly. That's it.
And like Osho said, if you don't see you,
no
matter what I see,
no money don't matter.
No matter how amazing I see you are, no matter how prosperous I see you are, if you don't see it, then you're gonna get mad at me because I'm gonna be talking to the future you, and I'm gonna be growing while I'm talking to the future you, and then now we're gonna mismanage a covenant relationship because you can't handle it. Does that make sense?
It makes good sense. I'm telling you. Listen, I'm gonna read this. I told Vance I was reading this. I'm gonna read this. This was sentence. I had to read this tonight. But listen, y'all. It says one key component of leading. Listen to this. Is whatever phase of life you find yourself in, is the ability to assess the current value of your relationships over past profitability of each individual. So you cannot hold me to the past profitability to my future self. So whenever you're looking at leading, you cannot hold me to what that leader but prior to me did not do. So you have to embrace me for who I am, because you don't never grow if you're always trying to embrace the person that rejected you, the leader that walked out on you, or the leader that made promises and never fulfilled them. So we have to understand, attached to my life is value. attached to your life is value. There is something in you that God's got to get out of you. And the way to get it, and I told somebody, in whatever soil your feet are planted, you got to learn how to grow in that. If you're not able to grow in the soil where your feet are planted, God can't trust you somewhere else. He ain't gonna trust you in another field if you can't manage the field you're currently in.
Let me tell you, you just said something. I'm a firm. What's up, Pastor Thomas? What's up? I see you, Doc. I am a firm believer that a lot of people don't grow where they're planted. And hear me real good. Hear me real good. Because for those that don't know, I served my bishop for 21 years. I armor beared for 21 years. I carried his Bible for 21 years, even to this day. If my bishop, my father in the ministry, LaVon Hughes, walks, if I see him walking down the street and he got a briefcase in his hand, I'm gonna grab it. If I see my bishop driving, I'm gonna jump in the driver's side. It's that reverence of honor. It's that level of honor that I'll always have for the man who birthed me in the ministry. And here it is. A lot of people don't grow where they are planted because, hear me, they think because they are serving there that where they're serving owes them something.
That's good. That's good.
Don't miss it. They think, and I had to get over this. And hear me. And let me say this to everybody who's serving your pastor, serving your leader, serving your bishop, and you may serve him well or her well. You may, man, I drove my bishop everywhere. He wouldn't drive the church on Sunday. I would drive to his house on Sunday mornings, wait outside his house on Sunday mornings, and he'd come get in my car. It was illegal to me for my bishop to drive. It was illegal for me for my bishop to have anything in his hands, because if somebody came up that tried to shake it, if somebody came up needed prayer, I didn't need him bogged down with anything. Man, I served and I honored him. I mean, with total honor. My bishop, I did, man, when he would finish preaching, I would go in the office, lay out his dry clothes, and then say, all right, Bishop, go, your dry clothes is in the bathroom. Just throw your wet clothes in this bag. I would take the wet clothes in the bag, take them home to my house and wash them. And my bishop, and see, a lot of people, this dispensation, a lot of people don't have that level of honor for their man of God.
That's right.
Because here's what I said. Here is why I developed that level of honor. And I can get my bishop on the phone now. I was in the leadership meeting with my leaders, and my bishop called, and I put him on speakerphone, and he validated everything I said, and even till this day, to this day. And so it was illegal for him to do anything but preach. I said this to my bishop. I said, Bishop, I don't want you to do anything but preach. If it has anything to do with anything else, I got it. Because the words you speak is going to help shape my destiny. We don't have that honor for men and women of God these days. We just think he's my pastor, we talk to them any kind of way. No. My bishop, I got keys to his house, keys to his car, keys to I helped raise his children. And to this day, I've never called him by his first name. We went on vacation together, me, his wife, and family. I mean, to this day, I've never called him by his first name because of the level of honor. Because he houses the word of God for my life,
your destiny.
His mouth. And if the church and the kingdom is ever going to reach that dynamic level again, the honor and the reverence for the man and woman of God who serves you has to be reenacted, has to be revived. So, but anyway, but a lot of times we don't grow where we are planted. We don't grow where we are planted simply because we come in expecting reciprocity. So I'm serving you, you owe me something. Hear me. My bishop owes me nothing. Just because I drove him and served him to the man at Christmas time, people will get mad. My bishop ain't even get me nothing for Christmas. He don't owe you nothing.
Nothing.
Your job
Yes.
is
Well,
to
serve.
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 But
Yes.
you are
Yes.
doing public demonstration with a
Mm,
private agenda. And when
mm,
you're doing public demonstration with a private agenda, you're not moving in covenant and you're not moving in honor.
mm.
So I don't grow and we church hop because
Yes.
I'm go to where that carnal appetite is fed.
Yes. Yes.
I'm
Yes.
gonna go to
Yes.
where, the pastor gonna cater to me. My bishop doesn't have to cater to me, doesn't care how close we are.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot serve him expecting him to serve me.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
That's not covenant. I'm just keeping company. And then here is what I hate. Here is what I hate. Here is the level of disrespect and non-covenant connections and commitments that we talk about. Here's what I hate. I hate when you've served under a man of God or a woman of God for so long, and y'all have gone around the world and y'all have
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed life and
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed freedom and enjoyed living. And then all of a sudden, if the relationship that is not still close and connected, you want to tell the business. Hear me. Your loyalty,
Yes. Yes.
your loyalty in accountability, in covenant, your loyalty does not stop when your assignment is over.
Exactly.
Because then it shows you were not in covenant, you were in company.
Uh-huh.
If your loyalty stops because something happened, you don't like them no more, or something happens that y'all not close no more. If your loyalty stops because of that, you are how can I say it? Can I say it like you are an agent of demonic forces.
All right.
You do not tell the business of your leader, of the person you were, even in relationships. If y'all not cool no more, now did you know Erica used to smoke weed every day?
Yes. Yes.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
If it was cool when we were together, you gotta keep it when we apart. See that shows, Erica, who's really in covenant with you. Because if you got friends that you're no longer in covenant with, but they're running their mouth in your business, they were never in covenant in the first place.
Never.
Stuff that there are people I was connected to years ago that's going to my grave because I don't care how mad I get at them. I don't care how frustrated I get at them. Their business is protected because my loyalty doesn't stop when my time is up.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm
That's
sorry.
Good. That's good. Listen. That you hit something right there on nail. That whenever, because everything in our life has times and seasons.
Mm-hmm.
There are seasons in our life that we're going to stay connected, and there come seasons in our life that we're going. For example, we have a mutual friend we talked about earlier today.
Right.
I hadn't seen him for years, but the one thing I know, if I pick up the phone right now and say, "Sir, I need," they will be here for me. That's covenant.
Absolutely.
Covenant is whether I see you 5 years from now or 10 years from now.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing that I don't see happening
Mm-hmm.
a lot in the body of Christ. And y'all, we hadn't got to accountability. We're still on covenant. We're still on covenant because you have to understand, if covenant is not right, you'll never get to a level of accountability because you'll never start being accountable for what you do. Now, I'm going to talk about this, Pastor Matthews. I got to say this. I know there's a lot of controversy over Kirk Franklin and his son. That was a whole big issue. And let me say this. We cannot take sides when we only heard a piece of what was going on.
Absolutely.
And we cannot make a decision about a person's character based on what you heard when you don't have the full story. So for all y'all have made your comments about Kirk and anything else, y'all need to stop it. Because we heard a part of it. And the reason why I want to bring that up is because I may not like you. Because Pastor Adam said, Pastor Matthews is this, that, and third.
Right.
Well, I ain't never met you.
Right.
But because they done told me, I'm coming in with a preconceived notion. Well, let's see if Pastor Matthews really gonna do this. And if I can validate what Pastor A said over here, I ain't going back over there. So in other words, we trash talk too much.
Mm-hmm.
But when I put your trash on the table, You want to run out the room,
Right.
because you feel like, well, you done did me wrong. Well, no, you done put mine out there, so now I'm gonna put yours on there. You ain't man or woman to take it. So we have to learn how to, even though I fall out, but what you told me in that season of my life, I'm gonna hold that dear.
Absolutely.
Don't beat me down whenever I done made a mistake.
Right.
And I think this is where we go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing about it is, if I make a mistake, if we were really in covenant, then you're gonna cover me.
You're gonna cover me.
You're gonna cover me.
That's accountability, though. That's I'm accountable to you.
Yes.
Because regardless to where we are now,
yes,
I'm accountable.
Yes.
And I gotta be loyal to the time and the season I was with you.
Yes.
So, so whatever y'all did, if y'all dated and it didn't work, no, the world doesn't need to know.
Thank you.
Sleep with so and so.
Exactly.
Because you're mad now. Because you mad. Because watch this. Because you didn't get chose. Because you didn't get chose. Now,
listen, don't hate.
If he didn't rape you, if he did not assault you, whatever y'all did in y'all private time is y'all business, and it does not need to be blasted because you didn't get picked. You are grown. If you didn't get picked, you will get picked eventually.
But
your stuff.
Exactly.
But hey, what we did. And people get mad thinking that, or if I expose them for what they hear me, you can't expose me in reality for something you help participate in.
Thank you.
Because when you expose me,
you're
exposing you too. So now it's like, yo, you're gonna really put your business out there. And so accountability, whether we were friends for 10 years, 5 years, or 1 year.
Yes.
I'm accountable to you for that time.
That's right.
And whatever happened in that time, hear me. My loyalty and my accountability to you has to always be intact, whether we are talking or not. Exactly. Because if you come to me talking negatively and horrifically about somebody that you were once in covenant connection with, I'll never be able to trust you.
Never.
I'll never be able to trust you futuristically. You just told me.
You show me who you are.
You just showed me that you're gonna always be company. You're gonna never be covenant.
Yes.
Because there's a difference. There's a difference in covenant talk and company talk.
Woo, that's good.
Company talk, you get the surface stuff.
That's right.
Company talk, I give you enough. That if you talked about it, I would. Exactly. I give you enough to test the waters, to say, all right, let me see. Let me see if this gonna get back. Hear me. You just showed me everything I need. Come on, Thomas. Tell me more. What I do. Tell me. He says, so covenant talk is when I trust you with the internal essences of who I am.
Yes.
And vision and all that stuff. Company talk, you get all that. You get, yo, what's up, Doc? What's up?
Yes, exactly.
Because if I can't trust you with covenant talk, you cannot get covenant talk.
You won't.
You're gonna always get company communication.
Yes.
Because I can't trust you. And man, so I will. People would be like, well, Pastor, man, or man, I text you didn't respond back, or I rarely, unless I know you and trust you, you're just gonna get basic responses if you get a response, because I don't know. Touch a neighbor and say, I don't know.
I don't know.
You screenshotting?
Yeah.
I don't know if you screenshotting. Oh, he responded this way to me. Does he like me? Or he responded? No. You're not even gonna get all that. If I don't trust you, you're not, because I don't need our conversations to becoming a part of other conversations that's not in our present conversation.
Thank you.
So I'm not going to give you nothing. I'm not going to give you the gun to assassinate me on.
No, never.
That's what people like, Pastor, you ain't respond to my text. Okay. Or I'll send like a thumbs up or so. You not, if you have, and the Holy Ghost is always true. I know. I said, man, if I send this, they're gonna screenshot it, show it to somebody, and then like, man, what does he mean by this? Or what is he trying to number one, I'm not even gonna give you that. I'm not even gonna give you that. I'm gonna give you the basic company responses so that if it's seen, then whatever, I don't care.
Listen, man, I know we're brothers and sisters in another life. I'm trying to tell you, I give an okay, a thought. Man, I am good at one letter, one word. Okay.
If I don't trust you, no, you're not getting. If I don't trust you, what?
That's it. You're not getting that from me. Nothing.
If you're not in covenant with me, I can't trust you because it's too much going on out here.
Too much. Yeah, too much.
And people have agendas, Erica, that are so hidden but so
sad.
And you have to be able to see the agendas, man. And hear me, just because I don't say nothing doesn't mean I don't see it.
Thank you. That's good.
Just because I don't expose you doesn't mean I don't see it.
Thank you.
Because Jesus had to let Judas work. He exposed Judas immediately. You got to let him work. So I'm gonna let you work, but I see you coming.
I see you. Yeah.
I'm accountable to you, even after. What's up, Sandra? I'm accountable to you, even after. There's some people, Erica, that I know. Hear me closely. After our connection, whether it's family, whether it's whatever friendships you have. There's some people I know who has broken the accountability of the covenant and saying stuff concerning me, and everybody's asking me when you gonna respond. And my always response is
I'm not.
They will never pull me into that.
No, exactly. That is good.
You'll never know I'm mad from Facebook. You'll never know I'm mad from it. No. You'll never know You'll never know because I tell them truth doesn't have to be defended. Eventually, it's gonna come out.
It's gonna come out.
And my silence is going. Man, I don't care what they think I said. Yeah. I don't have to defend what they thought I said because I know what I said and I didn't say. I don't have to defend nothing.
No.
Because eventually truth will come out. People they be mad at me. Pastor, you didn't say nothing.
No, exactly.
Because I know me.
Yes.
If I start talking, it's gonna lead to something else. Then we're gonna be rumbling. Then I'm gonna have to knock somebody out. Then it's gonna be, so I know me. And when you know you just keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm like you, if I get started, you don't want me like you don't like me when I'm angry. So
I don't play fair.
No, I don't either. I go low. So you're still leave
me. Play fair.
Leave me be. And let me try to pray.
Yeah.
And get my beings together. Because if I ever start talking, you done had a bad day. So I'm like you. They'll say, "Did you read my text?" Yeah, I saw your text come through. I saw your. I'm be somebody. I call them trolls on Facebook. I call them trolls.
Right.
They send your DM, and this woman had the nerve to say to me, "What takes you so long to respond?" I don't even know this man.
They get bold.
And then he says, "What took you so long to respond?"
Yeah.
I said, "Troll, get off my page, delete, block." I think, I don't even know you, so how you gonna tell me I'm taking too long to respond? I don't even know you. And so I'm skeptical of those them instant messages and stuff. I would delete and block somebody in a minute. You gotta be careful. Don't get pulled into that.
I'm not connected to you. I'm not obligated to respond to you. If I'm not connected to you, if we're not in covenant, I'm not obligated to respond. I said something last night. I said, man, people have this tendency and they go through this level of anxiety trying to figure out who has problems with them or who don't like them and this and that. I said, if somebody doesn't like you and you don't know it, that's not your problem. If somebody has a problem with you and you don't know it, that's not your problem. It's not your obligation and it's not your priority to go around finding out who don't like you. If they're not mature enough And if they're not accountable enough to come to you in maturation, it is not your problem. And you've got to free yourself from the anxiety of wondering, because that anxiety is a spirit. You've got to free yourself from always trying to figure out if this one feels this way or that. Hear me. If they haven't mentioned anything to you, it speaks more about them than it does you.
Yes.
Go live your life. You are only accountable to those you're in covenant with. You are only accountable to yourself. You are only accountable to I promise you, Erica, I'm in such a liberated place now. Because I'm learning I've learned to manage my covenant covenant. Hear me. Covenant relationships, because covenant relationships produces accountability to help me get that when I'm giving birth, the covenant relationships become accountable to help me push.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. They come when I text the fellas and I said, "Yo, book's coming out. All right, send us everything. We're gonna push it." Da, 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 da. That's what accountable covenant relations do. They help you be. If I have not become something since being connected to you, the revelation is you've just been company. The greatest thing I can hear from people, and I even got that message today from somebody that said, "Thank you for helping me become my best self." If I'm in your life and I'm not challenging, now my ways of challenging, and there's some people that I pastor, I can be a little harsh, and not harsh, hard. And I'm hard because it frustrates me when people you love and people you see operate and live beneath what you see.
Yes.
When I see you, and I know you here, but you live in here, it's the most frustrating thing in the world. And so I'm like, yo, get your stuff. Almost Kurt Franklin. Get your stuff. Listen, and I'm not perfect. But man, I want to see people win so much. That it frustrates me when I see them living in and operating in apathy and mediocrity. Man, there's a level of excellence and that should be connected to you and your covenant relationships that demand, man, when we became close, my covenant brothers, I used to, Sandra, every Sunday after church, I was pastoring in Waldorf. When I first started pastoring, every Sunday they'll tell you I had to go to Outback. I had to go to I had to go get the wings. I had to go get the bread with the honey butter and all that. But when your circle shifts, your appetite shifts. Now when I'm hungry, I'm looking for Ruth Chris. I'm looking for Ocean Prime. I'm looking for Del Frisco's, and not because there's something wrong with Outback. It's now my taste has become accustomed to things that I was not, and that's what covenant brings you up. Elevates you, man. That's why I get on this whole weight loss journey. This whole can y'all want to hear what pushed me to start losing weight? Y'all want to hear that? Yeah. Go ahead. Because it was covenant. It was covenant connection. Y'all want to hear what you say? I did what I did. Yeah. Let me tell you what pushed me. We was traveling all over, Dr. Brian and I, and man, we would go shop. He would go shopping because I was 360 pounds. And he would go shopping, and we'd be in high-end stores, and the only thing I can get was a pair of shoes and socks. He buying suits off the rack from high, and I'm like, every suit I got had to be made. And I said, you know what? It may be laced with a little vanity, but it's gonna motivate me to get better. I'm gonna be able to come in Gucci and buy something off the rack. I'm gonna be able to go in Louis Vuitton and buy a shirt off the rack, not custom made. I'm gonna be, and I got on this journey, and I'll be doggone. I promise you, I'll be doggone. I done got a couple of things off the rack from there.
All right now.
But it's because you are connected to people who just heightens your appetite,
awareness. Yes,
and your awareness for things that you had. There's nothing. There's nothing. And this is probably the last thing I'm gonna say, because I know we're gonna take some questions. But there is, if your covenant relationships don't do anything else, they should expose you to something better.
That's good. Expose.
They should be able to expose you, and you expose them to something greater, something better, something, and let you know that the better is achievable. If I'm not better because I'm around you, and I'm not better because I'm connected to you, then you just keeping me company until the right one comes.
Man, that company, I'm telling you, you messing me up with that company. I mean, you messing me up with that.
Yeah, I may preach that Sunday. Wait, you're near, you still here. I may preach that Sunday. Don't mess with Eric.
I'm gonna preach that. It ain't gonna be this Sunday, but I'm gonna steal that from him. I'm just gonna let you know I ain't gonna have my own front. So all y'all listening, I'm gonna take company. I'm gonna take this phrase from him. So I'm gonna let y'all know I'm gonna use this. But you know, one thing that one of my favorite parables in the Bible is the woman at the well. And I love that parable because it was untraditional, it was unorthodox, it went against all of the principles of everything with the scribes and the Pharisees. It went against all customs.
Right.
Jesus broke the rules.
Absolutely.
For one person who needed to be set free. Absolutely. And she didn't even know she needed to be set free. She was just going to the well. And the thing that was about it, she went to the well at 12 noon, which was the hottest part of the day. And most people wouldn't have went to the well at 12 noon. Right. And because of her past, 12 noon was the one time of the day she could go and nobody else would be there.
Talk that text, girl. You better talk that text.
Yeah. So
I hear that ITC coming out. I hear that seminary coming out. Talk that text, girl.
So that was an encounter that had to take place, and she never knew it. But Jesus knew. He knew that she was going to be there at 12 noon, and he knew that the disciples going in town to get food, and he knew that his body and think about it, Jesus didn't have to get tired. That was his humanity that got tired. Absolutely. So he sat down, and he began to engage in conversation with her about something she could identify, and that was water. And he began to take that and begin to look at the water as a drawing point. And so when we're talking about accountability, when I'm trying to get something out of you, I don't need to go around the bush. I need to look at what I see and pull on that raises your level of awareness to where you're going or where you need to go. Absolutely. I don't think we don't hold people to a level of accountability anymore because we get too comfortable with where people are.
That's it. And
instead of pushing people to where we see them going, because I would not be a great leader if I never pushed you. I would have never been able to ride a bike if my dad didn't take the training wheels off the bike. Right. And even when I began to learn, I still wouldn't fall off the bike. But the more I rode the bike, the more I got comfortable on the bike, the more I could ride. Absolutely. So I would never know what's in me if you never pushed me to a place that I can say, this is who I am. Absolutely. So I got to learn how to I got to push you out the nest so you can learn how to walk on your own 2 feet. And it may be unconventional and untraditional, but if we look at this, 2020, no one predicted the pandemic.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Now, I know so many prophets out here, y'all done said this, that the Lord said.
Yeah.
The Lord said that.
He ain't said none of that stuff.
No.
None of that.
God was intentional of how this thing set up. And I also tell people, I ran across this, the day that Kobe Bryant, and those were killed in that plane crash, on the front page of the LA Times, go back and look it up. At the very bottom was a small article that said there was a pandemic that was about to hit the United States of America. Y'all have to go back at the same day that Kobe Bryant died. At the front page of the LA Times, it was a small article. It was talking about the pandemic. We overlooked it because what was happening that day was Listen, we was yeah, we overlooked what was really
Yeah,
going on. So we had a foreshadowing of what was to come, but we got distracted by
yeah,
what was put before us. And so
absolutely.
now fast forward to March, we were hit with a pandemic,
Hmm.
which was already among us. We just missed it.
We
So
missed it.
God had to
Wow.
intentionally shut us down. I don't think we would have ever seen George Floyd. I don't think we
Wow.
would have even seen some of this thing because God had to get us still. And he
Mm,
had to show us that he's still God despite the pandemic. Yeah,
hmm.
my heart bleeds for over 500,000 people that have lost their lives to this horrible pandemic.
Absolutely.
What God has done for us, if he hadn't done anything else, and you said it, he exposed us
Hmm.
to some things we wouldn't otherwise have seen.
Absolutely.
And we continued church as usual.
And,
So God he had to take us
mhm,
out of the walls. This is not church as usual.
mhm,
This is a whole different assignment. So for
mhm.
those of you that think this is how, listen, you got to now have to learn how to think outside the box. If you didn't do it in 2020, I beseech of you,
Mhm.
this year is a year that you need to
Get it done.
break out of the walls
Get
and
it
you need to
done.
find yourself. I'm telling you,
Get it done.
this is it.
Get
This
it
is
done.
your season to do it. And you have to learn how to embrace
Yeah.
where God is taking you and
Yeah.
be confident if God brought me to this place, God's
Absolutely.
going to carry me to wherever I need to go.
He has
And
to.
so, God, listen, we say a lot. So, if y'all got some questions or comments you want to put on the screen,
Ask me anything. Ask me anything. Well, listen. Listen.
I'm not going to say that. That's Pastor Matthews. If y'all going to ask me, I
Listen.
said
Listen. No, you
nothing.
know. But that's so, man. And I tell people, and Sandra is one of the people that I serve. And what I tell people all the time, I said, man, sometimes I can be a little aggressive with my approach because when I'm in covenant with you, I have a feeling of accountability to you.
Mm,
And so when I was having my monthly preacher classes in DC, and all my preachers who were on my staff, they met with me for 2-3 hours once a month, and we just dealt with the text. We dealt with preaching.
mm,
We wrote sermons
mm,
together. We sharpened them, and
yeah.
and some of them would be preaching, and I would just stand up and say, "That's probably the dumbest, craziest thing I've ever heard." And to see their face and be like, "Did he just say that?" And I said, "Now let's approach it again. Let's approach
Uh-huh,
the text again."
uh-huh.
And I said, so here's why I'm so hard on you, because I'm accountable to you. I
Mm, good.
feel it's my responsibility to help you be better than me.
That's good.
I
That's good.
feel, and when I'm accountable to you, and this is where a lot of people miss it. When I'm accountable to you as a leader, I have to give you a room to
Mm,
fail in. And I told them, I said, this is where you fail. Now I'm gonna tell you you
that's
failed.
good. That's good.
I'm
That's
gonna tell
good.
you, but this, I said, but you gonna fail in here. So when
Yes.
you get out there, you no,
Yes.
fail, right? So no,
Yeah.
and we would, man, and a lot of Ronnie, you hear, right, man, my boy Ronnie, and listen, they would fail in that room. But when it
Mm,
was time to deliver on Sundays, and I wasn't preaching, and I put them up to preach, I
mm-hmm.
said, that's the effect of me being accountable, and my accountability is producing sometimes some harshness because
Mm.
even this
So
Sandra just said, yes,
yes,
it
yes, it is.
did. Sandra was going through my deacon's course, and some of the tests and some of the stuff. She's like, Pastor, I can't. I said, you can and you will,
Yeah.
and you're gonna get it, Pastor. You're gonna. And then when it was time to do what was needed to be done, they got it done, and they knew what they
Mm,
were supposed. Because as pastor, I am accountable to you to
yes.
ensure that you are your best when you are
Yes.
up. And we don't
Yes.
have that anymore because we come
We
in
don't.
with selfish agendas, man. And you
Mm,
cannot be in covenant with a selfish agenda. You
exactly.
cannot.
You cannot. You
You
cannot. You
cannot.
cannot.
So we
And
gotta erase that dynamic. Yeah. We gotta
can
erase that mentality.
would it be fair to say, or maybe not, that for the preacher uh or pastor who did not prior to the pandemic that didn't feel confident in their call, could we say that some of them got the exposure they needed to propel them, or some of them got so for the pastor that prior to the pandemic that had been this, listen, there's a madness to this. They either got the propelling to move forward and it excelled them, or they realized that what they were doing was not prophetic to what God had called them to do. And so sometimes, so sometimes we have to, I was intentionally what I said, because I'm here, because there's some people on that since we went to this pandemic, they need to get off of Facebook, all this play. I'm telling you, it's been some stuff up here. I'm thinking like, Lord Jesus, this is what y'all preach on Sunday morning?
I said, Facebook is a central location for the most non-theological relevance. Some of the stuff I see.
Oh my God.
But here's where it is though. Some of the stuff I see, I ask the question, who's your pastor?
That's good.
Because and anybody that's connected to me, and I'm telling you, as recently as 2 weeks ago, I saw somebody post something about scripture and stuff on Facebook, and I called them. I said, "Yo, bro," I said, "you gotta take that down." I said, because they know you're connected to me, and that type of garbage is nothing I would teach, preach. Number one, it's non-theologically based. Number two, it is against everything I teach in scripture. I said, and you're basing it, and you're sounding like you are a bruised and bitter component of church experiences, but you're trying to substantiate your hurt through biblical relevance, and you're sounding stupid.
Yes.
So I'm gonna need you to deal with this. I'm gonna need you to take that down. And because if you connected to me and you post something stupid that is totally against scripture, totally against what we teach, I'm accountable enough to you.
You gotta address it. To
say, hey, it don't make sense. You've got to take it down, because I'm not going to be a part of that.
No,
be a part of that. But I've seen, and I'm like, yo, no wonder these people are where they are, because it's evident that you're not feeding anybody because of what you're trying to perpetrate on here.
Yes.
And somebody asked me, said, Pastor, you need to go live more. I said, no. I said, because a prophet that's always speaking becomes irrelevant. I said, a person that's always talking, the more they talk, the less their words are relevant, and the less their impact is relevant.
Yes.
I speak when I need to. I speak. I said, because it's possible. And notice, anybody who follows me know I've never said anything about Kirk Franklin publicly. I haven't posted about it. I haven't done anything.
Yeah, me neither. I haven't posted.
Yeah, and it teaches the lesson that you can have an opinion on something and not have to say it.
That's right.
And maturity says, I can have an opinion on this, and I don't have to make my opinion public.
That's right.
Because at the end of the day, I ask myself the question, why'd you have to make that public?
Exactly.
Why? Tell me, because you know, come on. They teach you to ask the relevant question.
That's right. Why?
Tell me the why.
The why, exactly.
Your need.
Yes.
So people that post everything cannot be trusted with anything. And y'all can take that one. Y'all can take that one to the bank. People that post everything. Oh man, I got up this morning and I felt gas. Oh man, I got up this morning. People that post everything cannot be trusted with anything.
No.
Break on it. Y'all retweet that, not retweet it. Y'all put that in the comments.
Post it. Yeah.
People that post everything. You can't be trusted with anything. I'm like, why? I be looking at people like, why'd you post that?
Exactly. Me too. Like, where'd they get this from? Like, why
you post you laying in the hospital bed and all? Why we want to see that? Just why? Just why? Get better. Let's post you healed. Post Get better.
Get better, yeah.
Okay. Y'all got any questions? Because I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, get your life. I'm telling y'all, I have immensely enjoyed this conversation. Pastor Matthews, man, I'm telling you, this has blessed my life. If it ain't blessed nobody else's life, it's blessed my life. I
Man.
made a promise to some preachers, young preachers that I am helping sort of mentor, if you say. I made a promise that every quarter I would bring somebody that could feed us, that could really pour into them and give them nuggets. And so really, God had to remind me, Erica, the first quarter is almost up. And I said, God, began to pray and ask the Lord, who should be the next person I bring? And Pastor Matthews came in my spirit. And I tell people, I didn't invite him to because who he's connected to. I invited him because the word that he carries. Prior to me inviting him, believe me, like I told you, I'm a ghost watcher. I've watched, I've looked, and I've listened. Because if you don't have sound word and the things that's coming out of your mouth don't make sense, then I don't want to expose you to people who are still trying to. Some of them are even questioning whether I was called or not. And some of them say, "Well, Lord, do I really want to go through with this?" So you got to be able to know when you're in covenant, when you're accountable for people. You gotta be able to expose them to the right type of exposure.
Absolutely.
And not give them toxic exposure, because giving somebody toxic exposure can be detrimental to their growth.
Absolutely.
And so tonight was about growth. Tonight was about impartation. Tonight was about development. It's about character and leadership. Where do you see yourself going? That's the question I want you to think over. Where do you see yourself going? Where do you want to go? And if God has made you a promise, I have said this, I say it all the time, God still has time to perform his promises. So don't you count God out because it's March and you haven't seen God manifest anything. God still has time to do what he promised he's going to do for you. So you hold fast to the profession of your faith and what God promised you. I promise you God's going to do it. If he did it before, he can do it again. And so tonight, I thank you, Pastor Matthew, for your time. I thank you for sharing this space with you. I pray that God would richly bless your ministry. I pray that God would open doors that blows your mind. I pray that God will allow you to work for a level of accountability and a level of exposure like never before, because the word that you carry on the inside of you. I pray that right now that God will begin to remove all hindrances, all distractions from around you, that you can hear God at a level that you never heard God before. My prayer tonight is that he would blow your mind with expectation. Eyes haven't seen nor ears heard. God's going to move you in realms, not because who you connected to, because of the word that you carry. There's an oil that's flowing in your life that you ain't even tapped to that level of oil that God has flowing in your life. I believe there's a level of oil, and I'm telling you, God's getting ready to do some supernatural, unexpected things in your life. And I was going to say, God, I saw God do it. I was going to say, I saw God do it. And I believed it to be so. So I pray, God, that you bless him so rich. I thank you for your time, sir. It has blessed my life immensely. This will not be our last encounter. We will do more. We're gonna build on this. And so if this has blessed you all, and this is a blessing, I'm gonna put Pastor Matthews' cash app down here. I know y'all probably say it.
Man, you don't have to do that. You know, we good. We good. You don't have to do that.
No, I gotta be obedient. Okay. Let me be obedient. Okay, I'm gonna be obedient. So y'all pour into him. If he was a blessing, y'all pour. Because I leave this, guys. When you sow seeds, God will sow them back. I'm a firm believer. I am a sower. I am a giver by nature. Wow. And I've seen God do miraculous and supernatural things. I have the gift of healing. And one of the things that God has always used me in, my gift of healing has always been connected to my giving. And so whenever God gifts you with something, there's a price with that. When God gives you something, there's a price. So you got to serve at a level of expectation and put high accommodations on what the gift that you carry. And watch God do the miraculous. So I thank you, sir, for this time.
Thank you.
I pray that it was. I pray y'all enjoyed it. I know I did. So
and look, you didn't have to go through y'all. She thought she was gonna have to go through 20 secretaries and all that to get to me. She's like, man, can I get them? And all she had to do was hit me up, and then we got it going. Y'all see, y'all don't let that misrepresent it. No, she ain't have to go through a lot of people. She,
Exactly.
just
Yes.
she just went through the protocol and
I
we
did.
got it. And
We got
I even called her today
Yes, he did.
because I didn't want because ironically, even though the way we flowed tonight was such a kindred spirit, I've never met her because I asked her today. I said, "Have we met?" But she told me we have a mutual friend that I preach for in North Carolina, and so I said, "Well, I didn't want to my first time meeting you to be." So I called her today just to make
y'all.
sure.
He did.
You know, we ain't big time. We just love Jesus.
That's it. That's
We
it, man.
just love Jesus,
That's
and
it. That's
we are
it.
excited about what God is doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm
Thank you.
honored.
So y'all listen, y'all grow. I want to see y'all blossom. And if you don't do anything, live life on purpose because God has greatness in store for you.
Amen.
I pray y'all get some good rest tonight. I know I am because I'm tired. Y'all had a long day. But you all be great. He's on the central, he's on mountain time.
Yeah, it's only what time is it?
It's 9:25 here.
Oh, it's only 7:25. See, yeah, no, we good.
Yeah. And I go to bed early, so my bedtime is among me. So
now you got to promise me one thing.
Okay,
y'all, and I want y'all to put this in the comments. I want y'all to put this in the comments.
Don't put me on blast.
I want all of y'all because y'all heard her confess that she watches me, but she never lets it be known she's a ghost watcher. Tell her Ghost is dead. Power Ghost got shot by his son. All right. So since Ghost is dead, no more ghost watching. Y'all put on the comments, no more ghost watching. Just put that, no more ghost watching. She's got to come in and say hi. Come in and speak and say hi and let us know that she's there. No more ghost watching. Y'all put that in the comments. No more ghost watching.
She put ghost is dead. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I promise y'all. I'm gonna stop being a ghost watcher. I'm gonna come on and at least say hi. I promise y'all. Y'all can. Now I've been made accountable to the world, so I gotta make true on my promise.
It is. It is.
All right, Pastor Matthews. You have a good evening, and guys, I thank you all for your time tonight. I pray this has blessed you. So into the man of God's life that this has really been a blessing to you. Thank you all. Have a good evening.